TNA Wrestling returns to Dallas for two big nights of history-making pro wrestling at the Curtis Powell Center, Thursday, January 15th and Saturday, January 17th. The Thursday night show will make history, as it'll be the debut episode of TNA's flagship weekly television show, Thursday Night Impact, airing live on its new home, AMC. And who better to feature than one of the most accomplished tag team wrestlers, but also transitioning to singles wrestling, main eventing Bound for Glory, main eventing Slammiversary, becoming the first Puerto Rican descent wrestler to win the TNA World Championship. And that was at Bound for Glory. What exciting times. Thank you, Mike Santana. Just what has this crazy ride been like recently going through all this?
You said it right. Very first Puerto Rican TNA World Champion. Out of everything you said, that was the thing that made that was it right there. You the man, Jim. You the man. Oh man, it's what a wild ride it's been, man. Like it's been a true blessing. It's been emotional. It's been man, there's so many words I can't even get them out, man. But I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself, especially, like you said, I left a something that was very well established. You said I was part of one of the best tag teams in the last few years. I got to do amazing things. Yep, got to do amazing things, travel the world, and but like I did that. Now it was time to do something for myself, and I'm glad that this bet that I took on myself is paying off, and I'm doing even greater things. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's been a wild ride, and I honestly feel I'm just getting started.
This is so interesting to me because when I look back at tag team wrestling, it's difficult sometimes to or a lot of times transition to singles to reach that level when you've reached the top. You look at the Hardys, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, even going back, Bret Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the Rockers, and all.
Yep.
Sometimes it works out, and sometimes it's okay. You do okay, maybe not at that high level. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. It's a challenge. How did you do that? But how did you figure, hey, and now Mike Santana, exactly. But how did you figure out at that time too, like, okay, I'm going to take a chance on myself? And what was that big moment? Was there a big moment where it was like, okay, yeah, I got to go for this. I got to try and do this?
Honestly, like I had set forth a plan for myself, and I didn't put a timetable on it. I was like, this plan, it could take 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, but I knew the work that I was willing to put in, right? And like you named a few, man. Some of my favorite wrestlers that I grew up watching, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, guys like that. Like, I was very inspired by that. The fact that they went from very successful tag teams and they cemented their legacies as singles wrestlers. You know what I mean? And also on top of that, I knew because of the struggles that I had faced in my personal life and what I brought myself back up from, my heart was telling me I need to do this, right? And I've always been one that, like, my dad always told me, above all, you listen to your heart. And I did that tenfold, man. And again, I knew the work that I needed to put in, and I was going to do that work. And thankfully, the work has paid off, and it's paying off. And man, like I'm just proud of everything, man. I'm proud of everything, and also just the support that I've gotten from the wrestling fans in general. I feel like that has been such a monumental thing in getting me to where I am. Just the fan support, and a lot of people have resonated with my story and resonated with what I've been putting out. And yeah, just the support has been amazing.
I want to get to that story, but when you're touching on things like that, I know the goal was winning the world title, and you did that. You accomplished that. But I'm just wondering, too, when you're main eventing, like Slammiversary, is that the moment that you said, okay, I knew that all the work I put in and everything I put in, this is where it got me? Not the title yet, but I got to main event Slammiversary. Or was there something before that that you were like, hey, I'm here and I'm doing it, and now I got it?
Honestly, yeah, I think Slammiversary was the moment that made me real. Okay, that was the official moment. You're a main eventer now. You're a top guy now, and now it's a totally different ball game. And the fact that I got to be a part of that moment, and I earned every bit of it with the work that I put in. You know what I mean? And I wasn't there by luck. I was there because I've earned it in the work that I put in. And that was the initial moment that, like, yes, you're a main eventer now. And it was off to the races from there.
You mentioned your father, and I wanted to bring this up because Immersed is a documentary on you, part 1, part 2. Got part 1. We're going to see part 2. I got a little advance. A good friend that I know was able to get me. I think he's a doctor too. He's a jack of all trades with TNA Wrestling. I won't mention names. Like, but it was so amazing to see your story. And you mentioned about just coming over and now being sober, and your daughter having a big influence on that. And the first thing I wanted to ask you about that whole situation and putting that documentary together was how do you get to that moment where you realize you hit rock bottom? Because how do you know that when you're doing all the things that you were doing? And I know your daughter wrote a letter to you, and that was very inspiring and helped you. So thank you.
Yeah, I think honestly, that was my rock bottom. My rock bottom was my daughter realizing that something was wrong with her father. Because as an addict, you just think you're hurting yourself. And you don't pay attention to the ones around you that are hurting, especially like the ones that love you the most, right? They're the ones hurting because like they're seeing you destroy yourself. And but yeah, my rock bottom was my daughter realizing, man, my dad has a problem. Mind you, she was only 8 years old at the time. And I was so oblivious to it because I was just in my own mess, living in my own dark world. But that letter, I'm so incredibly thankful for, because that letter was the moment that slapped me in the face. It was the slap in the face that I needed at the time. It was the wake up, you are about to lose everything. And yeah, like I wasn't just gonna lose my life and my career. I was gonna lose my daughter. And I'll even share a personal story. Her mom, God bless her, she told me straight up, if you don't get yourself together, like, you're never going to see your daughter again. And I don't blame her. Because at the end of the day, she was doing what any mom would have done for her child, and that's protect them. And the fact that she felt the need to protect her from me was, I mean, like, if that wasn't going to wake me up, nothing was, honestly. But yeah, I'm thankful that moment happened the way that it did. And I'm even more incredibly thankful that my daughter got to see firsthand her father hit rock bottom, and the work that I put in to get to where I've gotten to and present to her the title in the main event at one of the biggest shows in TNA history, right? She literally got to see it step for step for step. And this is why I had decided to share that moment with her, because that moment was a thank you to her for saving my life.
And it's interesting because you also talk about her wanting to become a pro wrestler. That's what she wants to do. Mike, come on. Is that okay? Are you okay with that? What's going on here?
God help me.
I'm sure. Hey, between Amazing Red, Homicide, Konnan. She's got yourself. She's got a lot of people that could help her get that thing started. What are your thoughts of all those people? Because you mentioned them too in the documentary. Loki, SAT. You mentioned so many others, but those particularly. And then Casey Navarro, your little brother.
Yeah. I mean, again, I've been blessed in my career to have been mentored by some of the greats. You know, guys with very storied careers, guys who have been influential in today's style of wrestling. Yeah, man, I've been blessed and thankful to call these guys mentors, to call them friends above all. And the fact that I get to sit under those learning trees, man, I mean, what more can I ask for, right? These guys have been so influential to me and to so many others. And they've been a very integral part in my success. And also the fact that I get to not just continue a legacy that they created as guys from New York City who came from similar backgrounds as myself and got to make something of themselves, you know, coming from the streets of New York. But I get to also carve my own path and set forth a legacy of my own that maybe another young guy could come after me and you know, look at as inspiration. And I'm a firm believer in paying it forward. So those guys helped me, and it's my turn to help the next people.
Couple more questions, we'll wrap it up. And thank you as always for the time, Mike. It's interesting too. This is such a crazy time with WWE NXT and TNA Wrestling doing their thing. Who would have thought? You're involved in all this. You got AMC, the new channel that's going to be showing Thursday Night Impact. That's a cool thing. It looks like more eyes have been getting on the product. The houses are bigger. The pay-per-views and the different things like that, more people watching. So what are your thoughts being involved with all this now with WWE NXT involved and also now going to AMC?
I think it's awesome just overall looking at the bigger picture and the grand scheme of things. The fact that, like, I grew up during, you know, of course I grew up in the new wrestling during the Attitude Era and the Monday Night Wars, right? Like, we got to see some amazing things. We got to witness amazing history, amazing moments. And the fact that I get to be a part of that next boom of pro wrestling today in this era and be at a top level is a huge deal to me, right? And it's just an amazing time. Like, you know, coming up during that time and watching wrestling, what really stood out to me was just the unpredictability, right? And the fact that, like, one week some guys could show up on the other show, another week these guys could come to our show, right? That excitement for the fans is just everything. So the fact that we get to offer that in today's era, and the partnership has been going great, as you guys see, and you know, I think it's just going to grow even more. And yeah, man, it's an exciting time, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Mike, we're glad to see you be a part of it. And as you said, at a top level tag team, top level now singles, inspiring story. So glad that you turned your life around and were able to do that, and you're sober and continuing your journey. Hey, I got to ask you one more question. I got to bring the tough questions, Mike. So here we go. Is Konnan still beating you at bowling?
Listen, you know, I should be embarrassed of myself. I should be. No, you know, I think anytime that Konnan and I step foot on a bowling alley, he's gonna kick my ass. So that's just something I have to accept in my life, and it's okay, because who better than to do it, right?
Well, Mike, I've got the answer. When I see you next, I'm giving you, it's the Pride bowling ball. You're going to get him with this. This is the one.
Awesome.
Mike. This is the one.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Hopefully it helps.
Hey, Mike, continued success. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, James. I appreciate it.